Yeah. Now I'll just share. I'll just explain the flow from view resolver to the dispatches outlet and how that response will be displayed on JSP file on JSP pages and sorry, how the response will be displayed on the browser using the JSP files and constructed model objects. Okay. Um, so earlier I explained briefly about the complete flow for the Spring MVCs, dispatches outlet, handler mapping, how it finds out the right controller and then dispatches it to the resolver. All that stuff, so you might have got some percentage, but it's fine. But now I will just explain how we display the JSP, uh, how the JSPs are working with the Spring MVC. Uh, that is the thing I'll be talking about. Okay, and here, hi Ayesha. Okay, anyway, I'm recording. I'll share that, but I have not talked much anything as of now. Um, right now, I'm just going to explain how the JSPs will display our content in the browser. Okay, first thing. Um, the right now, I'll just take um, category page itself, right? Here, if I click, no, as I explained earlier, if I click on this, it will find out the controller, which is like here it is shopping category controller, I guess. That controller will populate the data. The data is nothing but the information that is actually getting it from the database. So whatever, like all this information, Samsung Galaxy J7, all these products information, their prices, their reviews, their other values, their description, their specifications, everything, the category related information of Samsung um, is called data. So okay, this is the data that is residing in the database, right? Most like any application, the data is nothing but any database that is dynamically constructed will be there in one of the database, one of the data source layer, which is nothing but database. In our case, it is MySQL database. So all this information, Samsung categories information, will be there in the database, MySQL database. So our landing controller, first when you hit the request here, and I say hit the request, this is hitting the request. Okay, when I hit the request, it will go. Spring will actually, as I explained earlier, it will find out the right controller. In this case, it is shopping category controller. It will find out the right method to process, and I'm not going to explain how this process and all happens here, but I'll just minimize this explanation only for JSPs. So the controller part and all will come later if we have any questions and all. Finally, this is the controller. It will finally return. I'll go here briefly. Display category finally constructs, as I explained. It will finally construct the modal objects that is required for JSPs to process. Okay. So our data, the model object will have the data information, every information. Like what is data? As I explained, the data is nothing but what is saved in the database. What is saved in the database? Category information, category description, category names, what products are there in that category, what is the product name. All that information is nothing but data that's used for category page, no, category landing page. Just think like that for now. Okay, so after that data is constructed, all this data will be constructed as objects, Java objects. All those Java objects uh, will be will be passed to the JSP pages, Okay, so say in this case model is the one which will hold that data objects. So that model object will be used in JSP to display all that information. Okay, so so finally this is all construction is happening, but I'm not going to explain how that construction is happening. But finally what's happening here, it is the model object that is getting created. Model object is created with the data that needs to be displayed on category page. Okay, I'm going here. So how is this, and I'll not talk. Finally the model object here, this is the model object that is used for display. So manufacturers, so with this key, if in Java it is nothing but the model object is nothing but here is a kind of map. Okay, map, hash map kind of. So if you add a key, for this key this is the value that we are adding it, saving it. And so in JSP, if we use something like request dot some manufacturers, it will display the manufacturers. So think like that for now. And if you say request dot parent proxy in JSP page, it will display the parent category, something like same. So we're keeping everything in model object. So all that information data is put into the model object as some sort of Java objects. Once that is model object is populated, so when model object is constructed, it will come over here finally, and this is the return view name. So we are saying that this is the resolve, or what is that name called here, view resolver, view name. So what is the view name here? So I just, variable name is return view name, but finally the value of this one, when it is coming, it is category dot jambira. So this is the view name. So we have constructed the model object in this method. Okay, the model object will have the data, and that model object is passed over to this view. What is this category.jambira view? We don't know, right? So that the views are all defined in tileshop.xml. Okay, so in this here, in this tiles.xml, category dot star. So star is nothing but anything. So category dot star, in this case star is jambira. Okay, so if whatever it is coming with the category dot star, it will execute this catalog layout dot JSP page. It will just pass the model object to catalog layout JSP page. This catalog layout JSP page will have inner JSPs, which is one is header JSP, other one is navigation bar JSP, other one is category JSP, and another one is footer JSP. All these four JSPs are inner JSPs to catalog layout.jsp when the view name is nothing, when the view name is category dot something. Okay, so when the view name is category dot something, it will just pass on to catalog layout.jsp with all these JSPs inside. So where are these JSPs placed in this catalog layout.jsp is defined in here. Just go and open this guy, catalog layout JSP, which is in templates, not bootstrap. Don't open that because we are using Jambira's template. So this is always try to open the complete path. Verify that you will see a lot of duplicate files, but when you see duplicate files, make sure that you open the one in Jambira folder. Okay, so catalog layout.jsp, this is the JSP that will be executed from the category controller, and the model object that is constructed over here will be passed over to the catalog layout JSP, and this catalog layout JSP will have a lot of JSPs inside, right? So all those JSPs, as I explained, these are the four JSPs, right? See here, these are the four JSPs. All these JSPs are placed somewhere in this JSP. One, say this is just JSP include. This is one other way of including the JSP. Okay, regular like shop links JSP is added over here. Okay, and when it comes down, tiles insert attribute header. This is the place where header.jsp is added, and something like all these four JSPs are added here. Okay, all these JSPs are added here, and this is not added from the tiles framework, but it is a regular JSP include. One JSP can be included in another JSP uh, using JSP include, or we can also use tiles framework to include the other JSPs. There are two different ways of including one JSP in another JSP. So this is one way. This is traditional way, and this is a strut styles framework way. Because okay, if we want to, this is, there is a reason, but I'm not going to explain why we are doing tiles here. But no, just understand, like, this is the place we are adding all these JSPs from the tiles framework. Okay. Okay, I guess here is like all these JSPs are included. Like, this is the first step. Okay. Any questions here? Are we clear or no, or still have questions? Any questions? No, we'll talk about the task later, but the flow wise, I explain, like, controller will go there, and controller will populate the data, all that, and at least JSPs, how this JSP catalog layout JSP is structured. Is it clear or no? Guys there? Say yes or no. Anything, but say clear. Good. Okay. Okay. Nice. Yep. So the catalog layout JSP, when that, so I'm opening that catalog layout. I opened already. So this is all these JSPs are included, and the Java container, we say that for everything I use Spring. Okay, Spring actually what it does, and our Java container, Spring is a wrong word here, but Java container will actually compile that JSP file. Okay, just think like that. The JSP, the JTU container will compile all that JSP Java code and transfers that JSPs and to HTML. Okay, the JTU container will actually translates the JSP code into HTML. Whatever finally we are seeing in the page here is a HTML page. It is not the JSP, but it is HTML that is built from a JSP file. A JSP file, which is in this case, in category page case, it is catalog layout JSP with all these included JSPs. Like one, this is like a big one, catalog layout, which has children like inside. catalog layout JSP is this header, navigation bar JSPs, body JSP, footer JSP, JS links JSP. All those JSPs are added and compiled and translated into an HTML file finally by the JTU container. And this is the HTML response. Finally, it's construct. Finally, this is whatever it is displaying is a HTML file. If you see, that's where we see this. This is the HTML response of this page. Means this is the HTML response of this catalog layout JSP with all these inner JSPs. So if you see that, where is this coming? This is another. Okay, view source. In fact, you don't view source is actually issue another request. Come on, not confused there. I'm actually, this is for disabling the breakpoints. If I say F8, it will complete the request one time, and when I view source, it is again hitting that. Let's go it. But don't say view source, but you can say view source. In debug mode, when you say view source, will just be waiting. You have to complete that request to get the response. Okay, come over, come over, come over. It's taking time. Okay, so this is the HTML response. Okay, this is the HTML response of the JSP catalog layout JSP. Simple. This catalog layout JSP, if you compare this JSP with the actual, with the HTML response that is created out from that JSP, this is the JSP. Do you see this? These are all dynamic attributes. That is why it won't. These are all what do you call this? The static includes, I guess, stat library. Sorry. So containers, JTV container won't add this to HTML response. Okay. That is why you don't see anything. You'll only see that the HTML tags first thing. Okay, what is the HTML? C set is actually runtime values, so you won't see these values, like you won't see this code in the HTML because this is dynamic code. Think like that. It is a dynamic code. So say for example, in your Java class, you declare int a is equal to 1 and system.out.println a, and execute that. What it will display? It will display a, but it won't display into 1 int a, sorry, right? It will display 1 or whatever the value of a, but it won't display the variable declarations and all, right, in the output. The same way, the HTML response is the output. Think like that. It is a HTML response is the output of the JSPs. So these JSPs are, as I explained, are constructed by and translated, compiled and translated by the JTU container. So here, this is request scope is like what is there are some variables, like this is request scope. This is available for the request level. So some I'll talk about this objects later, but in the flow wise, so you can ignore this. And HTML, this is the first line that needs to be added into the HTML. That is why you see this here. Okay, and then come over here. Next, what is that happening? Head. Okay, head. Okay, I see that head. I see that head. I see that metadata. This is JSP. I see next title out. So this is a JSP code. So this is a JSP code to display the page information. So this information, so whatever the request scope is actually constructed in the controller somewhere. Okay, using using data. What is data? Data is saved in the database. So this information, this is one of the syntax. This is the syntax to display. This is the sorry. This is the syntax to get the page title. Okay, page title from the request. This even I'm not sure like how this is actually exactly populated there. We'll see that. But this is somewhere constructed in the controller, and we are just trying to display this. We're just trying to add this value to the title. So this is the dynamically will construct and populate. What is it here displaying? So it is not displaying anything. What it means, there is no value associated with the page information. Okay, and then so we'll ignore that, so we don't have to worry. So and then these tags are for IE browser. I don't know, they will be displayed. Oh yeah, they are displaying, but yeah, these are all used by Internet Explorer, but that's fine. You and then here metadata and then description, all this is coming, right? Description, anything displayed there. So no information is passed. Oh, except there is a store name that is created, I guess. Yeah. Author, content, Jambira. Okay, this is the HTML response, right? And here content, see out, value, and this is the merchant store, which is our store name is Jambira. So we have in the data, we are just saving um, the merchant store. The key would be merchant store or something like this. So syntax is like we're just saving the Jambira as merchant store name, and we are just trying to display that on the page. That's it. And this not even displaying this. Okay, anyway, the meta tags are populated like that. Okay, and where it is constructed in the controller, you don't worry, but this is some these values are constructed in the controller, and we are now displaying it, we're now adding it to the meta tags. And the way like that, we are just we have populated head, and this is traditional JSP include shop links. So if you want to see what is there in the shop links, I don't think it has something. Okay, it has shop links is nothing but it is used to include the CSS reference. Say if we have some HTML code, if we need to align it proper, we need to have style sheets. We call it style sheets, and style sheets are nothing but to align the page right way. It is used to design the page well, right? Where so this one, how this is lined. So there are some CSS added in this page to display this HTML data in a neat way. You just think like that. The styles, these are all different styles we can add. So the data how we are displaying can be modified. Say if we want to display, this is like grid style. Say for example, this is grid style. So all the categories are displayed in the grid style, 1 2 3 4 5 6, something like this. But if I want to display line by line, okay, one product in one line, we have to change the styles because there is no change in the data. So the data will be same, Samsung Galaxy J7, whatever, the Samsung Galaxy J6, all these products information will be same, and we just display that information with different styles. One is grid style, other one is different style. And if I want to put I don't want to in a row way, so I want in columns wise display, some like all those styles, right, can be modified with the style changes. These styles are given by the designers. Okay, so whoever designed this application, um, like with they are like designers, they don't have knowledge in JSPs and servlets, but they have just the knowledge of HTML and the designing. The designers, they'll have tools to design and give the HTML code for us. Say in that case, so we got some HTML code for the category page. Okay, and that we use that HTML designed code, and we also use the data. Okay, and to 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 have both, like this is a HTML code and the data is the dynamically constructed data from the database. Okay, those two we cannot HTMLs are static, means they cannot display, we cannot display the dynamic data in the HTML file. So is the reason the JSPs are constructed. So JSPs are created. So JSPs can have both static data and the dynamic data. The static data is nothing but the HTML code, think like that, and the dynamic data is nothing but the data that is constructed and put in the model object that as I explained in the database. Okay, so the model object that is constructed from the database. Okay, so JSP can have both static and dynamic data. So that is why we are using the JSPs. Okay. Mm, and then what happens here? Where I was, where were I? Okay. Where are you here? Okay, so these are all the styles added, and when I come over here, the shop links, all these style sheets styles are added at this place. Okay, and if you see the HTML code, you might see some styles added script. Maybe did I miss some Java catalog layout? It is head. This is head only, right? Where are these functions added? I don't know where are from where these functions are added, but I'll see that. But this the styles that I was saying are here. These are all the styles that are added from here. Okay, so where are these scripts coming from? First thing is we added page information, and then author, and then shop links. Shop links will just have that HTML, just CSS, right? Or functions. Okay, okay. Shop links has these functions. Okay, these functions will have all this script coding. So that's why you see in the order, um, first script is added. Okay, and yeah, here if you go here, catalog layout JSP, you're adding shop links. Shop links, when you see shop links, first thing is functions are added, and then CSS, I mean sorry, some icons are added, and then some CSS are added. So that's the thing happening. I mean, if you see that HTML code converted, mm, it is first thing is after shop links, here the functions are added, and then icons are added, and then style sheets are added, and finally head is closed. So after head is closed, okay, actual body started. Okay, so in this body we're adding three different four different divs. uh, so go over here, this is page, sale of a box. Someone could not join because your meeting is full. Okay, one second. Is it Nagaman trying? 126. I don't know. Two IDs are coming in here. Hello, Aisha. Hello, Aisha. No, if somebody is joining behalf of anyone, no, I don't suggest that. They can listen the videos. No, I cannot hear, but can you can hear me, right? So I don't know which one is yours. Viewer three, viewer four, viewer three. Nagmani. Maybe Nagmani joined. No, Nagmani, are you there? Or Rajesh, you join? You did not join in join me, right? Oh, you join? No, no, join me, lo, no, Rajesh. Oh, okay, I'm joining into you. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm yeah, Aisha, I don't know like what how the duplicates are coming in from yours, I guess. So I'm removing this. So Nagmani can join. Hello, Aisha, you can still hear me, right? Let's wait. This not required for recording. Pass it. Uh, should I tell one more time? Okay, let me tell one more time. I don't know. So after this, I'll explain one more time as I did not record. So after adding this head JSP and this shop links JSPs are all added. Shop links JSP uh, added in a catalog layout JSP. Next thing is body. The body will have all these four divs, and these four divs will be added right after the shop links JSP and right after head in that. So if you see the source, so after head, so the body div tags are added. Okay, and once all those div tags are added, we are trying to add the header using the tiles framework. This the definition of header is given in tile shop XML, so which is nothing but header JSP. This header JSP will be, so if you see catalog layout JSP, again I'll go back. Catalog layout JSP, after div tags are added, next thing is header, next thing is nav bar, next thing is body, and next JSP is footer. All these JSPs are added here. The definition, like what exact JSP has to be added, is given in tile shop XML. So header will have this header JSP, and then navigation bar will have navigation bar JSP. Body will have a category JSP in this request, like which is coming with category dot star category JSP, and then footer will have footer JSP. So all these JSPs are added here at this place right after the div tags. Okay, so if you see the source, that's what it is. The first thing is header, header. Header is nothing but header. Huh? Okay, header.jsp will have this HTML code with yes, at runtime the JSPs are translated into HTML. I cannot hear you, Nagmani, yeah, because I muted. So let it go. Even crackers sounds will not be added into the recording. Okay, so yeah, and then after header is constructed, come on, header is added. Yeah, come on, okay, this is script. Where were we? Catalog layout JSP again. Header comes here. Header will have the scripts, and then header. So that's what we are seeing. Header will have the scripts, okay, and then header, okay, and then navigation bar JSP. Rajesh, you there, right? He's typing it, but I don't see here. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Mute yourself if you're not speaking. Anyway, you can mute. Can't hear you. Anyway. Okay. I don't know. Some sound is coming from where? Oh, this is muted. Okay. Got it. Okay, that's not from you, Rajesh. Yeah, yeah, it's from Nagamani. Yeah, I muted anyway. Um, so catalog layout JSP header is added, and then I think you guys are good, will be able to correlate like how this is working. Now navigation bar, then navigation bar JSP will be added, which will have scripts and some scripts, and then some JSP code. Come on down, all these things. Okay, yeah, all this like all this navigation bar JSP constructed translated HTML is added next to the head. So this is how all the JSP pages are are added and constructed, compiled, and translated at the runtime. Okay, and finally JS links, which is JS. Okay, Control Shift R is to open the file. Okay, jambira sections. So JS links. So this is the final JSP that is added in the catalog layout JSP, which will just add these scripts. these scripts, okay, I am not going to explain now. Okay, all these scripts are added after, right after the div tags. Okay, div tags. Okay, so the first thing is, this is how the right now the catalog layout.jsp is constructed, and finally body, and then html. You see that finally it will be ended with body and html, with all the code that is constructed, with all the html response that is constructed from the JSPs. Okay, so finally body and html, all this is the html response for the request that we issued. Now so we know, like, all these JSPs, like in this float list, catalog layout JSP, shop links, functions, header JSP, navigation bar JSP, JS links, some more JSPs are there already. All those JSPs are compiled and translated into HTML, as I explained many times now. Okay, so that is done in the runtime. So if you make, so how do you make I don't know, if you want to make some changes in JSP, so as you guys are asking for an example, so if you make some changes in one JSP, we have to see that change in the page, right? So these are all constructed. Say for example, now this is what I just issued. I issue and then I got the response. You see that, and in our workspace setup, in our application setup, we have a jambira.2 batch file. What it does, it will remove these directories from the Tomcat server. Okay, pages directory, resources. Okay, and then we are making some links. Oh, like, we are making the links from the actual code to the server. Means, if you make any change in the actual code in the Eclipse, those changes will get reflected in the server, so we will be able to see those changes immediately. You don't have to compile, you don't have to create a new one and deploy in Tomcat server, because we have just, that is what I did. Okay, we're just making the link between the Eclipse code and the Tomcat server. After making that, so that's what here we're doing. Making link is a command that to make the link between any two folders. So right now here it is shop to shop, admin folder to admin folder, and resources to resources, from Tomcat to, actually it is other way, from Eclipse to Tomcat. Okay. Now after I ran that, like, if you just double click, it will execute, right? So after executing that batch file, so if I make any change in the JSPs, that those changes will get reflected in the browser, in the response itself. So I'll just take some example. uh, Here any JSP I can change. Say for example, here author content is, I just want to, this is a, so when you see now, right now what it is displaying, this I already saw that. It is a jambira. Go up, go up, go up. Okay, so author is displaying jambira. Now I don't want to display the value that is coming in from the request, which is from the data. So I just want to hard code this. Hard code is nothing but I want to just say testing JSPs in Jambira. Okay, so this is what I want to display. I'm not want to add this value to the meta tag. So I just added. Okay, if I click on If I just re-execute this request, we will see that reflected. It's a straight change. Come on. So if you want to see the HTML that is created, that is responsible for displaying this page, right? We can just see using view source, and but view source actually issue one other request, so I don't suggest to use view source, but you can just uh, right click on the page, inspect. So inspect will also give the HTML code that is displaying this page. Okay, close this. Yeah, this is the JS code, right? Come on, come on, come on. Meta tags. Where was the meta tags in header? Okay, this is the one Jambira. I have not issued the request. So let me, if I issue the request one more time, so I'll issue here so we can compare. And not just the one, I want to make one other change. Say after coming over here, this is sort by. Say sort by, all these pages are displayed, right? So I go here, sort by. Where is sort by? Uh, some JSP per page will have that sort by. Go here, shop links. No, maybe main category only will see here in category. Yeah, here sort by is all this, like the main container will have this section code. This category is also added as a one of the tiles. So here the body section, where in the body section catalog layout, here in this place, this category JSP is added. So this is a static code, like I did. So now I'll say sort by, uh, say A. Okay, this is the change I made in JSP. Okay, so the two changes I made, one is in category JSP, other one is in header, I guess. I don't know which one. Catalog layout itself, I think catalog layout, yeah, here, right? So two JSP changes I made, and because those changes, I ran that batch file, they should see, I should see next time I execute that. So I'm just going to enter. So because I disabled the debugging over here, it will not stop in my debug breakpoint and it will keep executing. So I'm going, this is the latest request. So I'm just inspecting. I want to see the changes. You- So head, I made the changes, right? Uh, so here, yeah, content is testing JSPs in Jambira. So this one, these meta tags are not used to display anything on the page, so that is why you don't see anything in the JSP in the page. But some of the tags are added for backend purpose, um, and so this is one of them, meta tags, and some of them are used to display on the page. So this is not visible on the page. And the next one is I made like sort by to sort by AAA. This is used to display on page. So this is changed. Okay. So this is how I changed the JSP. So now the JSPs are changed. So I just changed the category JSP and some other JSP, catalog layout JSP. So and I can see those changes reflected when I reissue the request. So you don't have to open the request in the next tab. You can just say I'll go there and I'll again make a BBB now. Okay, save. Go here. You can just issue the request in the same tab. If you issue that, you will be able to see like now it is sort by BBB will come. So this is what's coming. So this is how I make the changes in JSPs, and I will be able to see the changes without compiling, without creating the war file and deploying into server. Okay, this is done. Okay, now the request for like now the task for Ayesha and Rajesh is to create a new JSP file. Sorry, create a category page that uses a different structured layout. So now this is category JSP, right? Come on. What yeah. So as I was explaining, all these JSPs are constructed from an HTML file. First thing, HTML, we got an HTML from the designer. We created the JSPs and we split those JSPs in different JSPs, and we use tiles framework to put some pieces into one JSP, some piece into other JSP, something like that. So if you have a big HTML, say for example an HTML file having 1,000 lines of code, okay, 1,000 lines of code, we are using different layouts. One is catalog layout JSP, other one is structure layout JSP. Catalog layout JSP, the regular way. Now we are seeing that the page, right? Catalog layout JSP will will have the complete HTML response, and we separate some of the HTML code is added in shop links JSP. Some of the HTML code is added in header JSP. Some of the HTML code is added in navigation bar JSP. And on top of adding those changes, we also added the dynamic code, like to retrieve uh, the dynamic data, the data that is constructed in the controller, and we display that on the page. Okay, okay, I think that is fine. Catalog layout JSP, and then what happens? Yeah, now the task is to use the structured layout HTML. The design for structured layout is in the design is same anyway. Sorry, the grid.html. This is the HTML file given by the designers. Okay, though these designers have given this HTML, right? So this will not have any JSP code. This will not have any dynamic data because it is a pure HTML. It is our responsibility to add the dynamic code into this HTML. As HTMLs are not able to serve the dynamic data, we use JSPs. JSPs can have static HTML code and the dynamic data. The dynamic data is nothing but the data that is constructed from the database. This database in the controller. Simple. The backend. We call backend. Backend is nothing but the Java code that is used to access the database layer and get the response back. Okay, so that backend layer is responsible for constructing this data. Okay, and that data, so we are displaying. So this is the HTML we got. So we have to make this HTML as a big JSP. So right now we are using the structure category, what is that, catalog layout JSP. Now I want to make this as structured layout JSP. Okay, say for example, let me do some work for you guys. So catalog layout JSP, and what is the other one I tried? Category, yes, right. So if the view name, as I was explaining, if the view name is category SL dot star, then structure layout will be invoked with all these JSPs in it. Okay, so this structure layout JSP. So say for example, now what it should have generally. How do we code? We already coded something for structure layout JSP, but it is not working the way we want. So we want to fix that issue and make sure that it displays fine without any issues. Grid.html, if you open grid.html in the browser, okay, this is like a source view. If you open copy this guy, path, this is HTML, properties, path. Okay, this is the HTML file. Okay, HTML file, if you open this is the way it has to display. But you're seeing that so some, it's not displaying right way. In fact, mostly I was worried like, come down, come down. What? Oh, my browser stuck.